Good morning, students. Today we will see about statistics. In that, we will mainly see about histograms. So, as I taught you in a before class, I have taught you about ungrouped data and grouped data. In this topic, we will see more about grouped data. Graphical representation of the frequency distribution for a grouped data. The line graph, bar graph, pictograph, and the pie chart are the graphical representations of the frequency for a ungrouped data. For ungrouped data, we can use this for histogram, frequency polygon, frequency curve, cumulative frequency curve are the sum of the graphical representation of the frequency distribution for grouped data. For grouped data, we can use all these four. As I taught you before, they are given in a clear method so that we can be easily understand this. Graphical representation, ungrouped data, grouped data. Under ungrouped data, we have line graph, bar graph, pictograph, and pie chart. Under grouped data, we have histogram, frequency polygon, frequency curve, cumulative frequency curve. Now we will see about histogram. A histogram is a graph of a continuous frequency distribution. As I told, for grouped data is also known as a continuous frequency distribution. See, there will be no gap in between. That's why it's called as continuous frequency distribution. Histogram contains a set of rectangles. See, we have set of rectangles. These are the rectangles, the base of which is the length of the class interval. The base is known as class interval, and the frequency in each class interval it is height, and the frequency is known as height. That is, the class interval are represented on the horizontal axis, the x-axis represented in horizontal axis, and frequency are represented on the vertical axis, and frequency represented as vertical axis, that means y-axis. The area of each triangle is proportional to the frequency in the respective class interval, and the total area of a histogram is proportional to the total frequency. Because of the continuous frequency distribution, the rectangles are placed continuously side by side with no gap between adjacent rectangle. There will be no gap in between the rectangles. That's what known as histogram. Okay, now we see this zigzag sign. It's known as ink. That means it doesn't start from zero. That this ink is mentioned for that the graph doesn't start from the
Origin,
see, we have from 50. So the graph doesn't start from mid. So we
origin,
have to draw ink. That means zigzag line. Steps to construct a histogram. Represent the data in the continuous form. Represent the data in a continuous form. As I told, histogram is a continuous. It's also known as exclusive form. If it is in discontinuous form, if that histogram is discontinuous form, it's an inclusive form. By converting it using the adjustment factor, if the histogram is discontinued, then we should use adjustment factor to make it as a continuous form. The set of appropriate units along the x and y axis. We should give an appropriate unit for x and y axis. Plot the lower limit of the class interval on the x axis. We should plot the lower limit on the x axis, that means horizontal line. Plot the frequency of the distribution on the y axis. Frequency should be plotted on the y axis, that means vertical line. Construct the rectangle with class interval as a base and corresponding frequency as height. We should construct the rectangle using class interval as the base and the frequency as the height. Each class has lower and upper value. Each class will have lower value and upper value. This gives us two equal vertical lines representing the frequency. This will give a vertical line representing frequency. The the upper end of the lines are joined together, and this process will give us a rectangle. This will give us a rectangle. Give us a rectangle. Now we will see problem related to histogram. Exercise 6.2. Fourth problem. Draw a histogram for the following data. They have given data, class interval and number of students. Class interval are 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, 50 to 60. It is in a continuous form. So it is known as histogram. In histogram, we have learned that continuous form, continuous distribution frequency. That's what we are seeing here. For class interval 0 to 10, we have number of students as 5. For 10 to 20, we have 15. Likewise, 20 to 30, we have 23. 30 to 40, we have 20. 40 to 50, we have 10. 50 to 60, we have 7. Now we will take a graph and we will plot x-axis and y-axis. Y-axis vertical line, x-axis horizontal line.
Origin,
We are taking class interval now 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 and 80. Now we will take for number of students y-axis 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. This is number of students. Scale. In x-axis 1 centimeter equal to 10. Y-axis 1 centimeter equal to 5. Now we will see for class interval 0 to 10, the point has been plotted in 5 in y-axis. Likewise, for 10 to 20 in 15, for 20 to 30 is 23, 30 to 40 it's 20, 40 to 50 it's 10, 50 to 60 it's 7. So this is the histogram. There is no gap in between. Next problem. Construct a histogram for the following distribution of a total mark of 40 students in a class. Marks 90 to 110, 110 to 130, 130 to 150, 150 to 170, 170 to 190, 190 to 210. Now number of students 9, 5, 10, 7, 4. Now as usual we will take graph, y-axis, x-axis.
origin,
So before I thought it's an ink zigzag. Why we are mentioning this means the graph doesn't start from
origin,
90, 110, 130, 150, 170, 190, 210. Now we will see for y-axis 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. This is number of students. Now we will see scale. X-axis 1 centimeter equal to
y-axis
20
1
mark.
centimeter equal to
Y-axis
2
1
students.
centimeter equal to 2 students.
So now we will plot the histogram. For 90 to 110, they have given 9. So we should take from 90 to 110 between in y-axis between 8 to 10 we can plot the graph. See. Likewise for 110 to 130 it's 5. So it will be between 6 and 4. For 130 to 150 it's 10. It's given in direct, so we should plot the graph directly to the 10. Now 150 to 170 it's 7. Then it will be in between 6 and 8. For 170 to 190 it's 4. For 170 to 190 it's 4. Now 190 to 210 it's 6. So I hope you understand. Thank you students. We'll meet in next class.